Next question from Austin is, how do I play so many hours? How do I avoid brain fog playing as many hours as I do? The easiest way is to find a good game. A good game in terms of the poker is almost always also a good game in terms of the social aspect. I think there was one table last year in Bellagio that was like silent, but there was a lot of money to be had on that table. That was the one table in my life, not just last year, that was like that. Usually a game with a lot of showdowns and a lot of all-ins also has a lot of conversation to it, and time passes quickly. Those types of games aren't tough to find in like Baltimore, AC, Council Bluffs, Oklahoma, but in Vegas, they could be. If you find it though, a social game with a lot of showdowns and a lot of all-ins, I mean, time's gonna go by. The conversations will make time pass, and the poker will make time pass. Even if you're card dead for a while, it's almost like watching poker on TV. There's a lot of action on the table, and that's keeping you entertained, and you're not just watching the hours go by. And it's fortunate for me that in Vegas, where you don't always find such a fun social game, there are so many options. Even with the rooms closing since Corona, I think there are still 14 poker rooms. Not that, I mean, I go downtown or to like Red Rock, Santa Fe, and Boulder Station so much, but there's still a lot of rooms in Vegas. So like Mandalay, MGM, Aria, Bell, Caesars, Bally's, still calling it Bally's. I'm gonna play all these rooms plenty, and that's Mandalay up through Caesars. Like, they're not that far. So if games are boring, sometimes I give them a really short leash in terms of the poker action and how quiet it is, and then I go somewhere else. It's not difficult to put in like 90 minutes somewhere to give it a chance to have a good game, and even if it's not, at least you got 90 minutes in and you go somewhere else. You do that at MGM, then you go to Aria, you do that, then you go to Bally's, you do that. Even if all those games were weak, at least you've gotten 4.5 hours in, and hopefully along the way, like if that was your plan, somewhere had a good game. And it's not just one table per room either. I do a lot of table changes. I don't overdo it. I don't want floor people to hate me, and it's actually sometimes there's not tons of tables. Like in Maryland Live on like a Friday, there's like, I don't know, 25 1-3s going, so there's a lot of table changing that it might take to find a good game. It's tough to find like the one great game out of 25, but if there's like 4 tables going somewhere, I mean, you're gonna sit on one, you could see the other 3, you could hear the other 3, how social it is. You could also hear the dealer usually announcing the bets and the raises and the all-ins, so you know what's going on. And usually if your table is bad, one transfer, you get to the best of the other 3, and if that's poor, then you kind of exhausted that room, you can go somewhere else. And as much of a math guy as I am, I really subscribe to playing a lot more when you can sense that things are going well, and not playing as much when you can sense things are going poorly. So like last year, I felt in April things were going great, and even though it was the first month with the channel, not only was I putting up a daily video, I was like very new to the editing process and the filming process, and things were going pretty slowly. I played 210 hours. Then in Council Bluffs, it was easier without like all the travel between poker rooms. There's only one poker room. I played the most hours in June of anyone in Council Bluffs. So when things are going well, I play longer, and that'll make up for some of the times when things are going poorly and I don't feel like playing as much. So I think my average last year was 180 hours per month. That's counting, you know, the 2 weeks at the end of December. It's counting my 1 week road trip to get to Vegas in January, my week-long road trip through the Plain States during the summer. Just total hours divided by 12, I think it came out to like 180. And I know it's not going to be exactly 180 every month. Some months were fewer than that when I had other things going on and when things weren't going well, and plenty of months were over 200 when things were going well. I was staying a lot longer at the table. Even if we broke, even if the room went dark, I knew things were going well. I wanted to keep playing. I would go to the next casino even if it's starting a new session at like 3:30 a.m. because I knew how well things were going and I wanted to keep that going.
Yeah, I got it at the stadium in May.